Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, April 26th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also for you Bitcoin traders, I'll do a bonus Bitcoin analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, SQQQ. And a very eventful day on this one. Started off quite strong, but you can see after that, essentially a gap and trap and pulled back the rest of the day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this level because it served its purpose for now. But let's just start with the resistance because moving forward, there's been a very well-defined resistance now that has made itself apparent. And that's right here at 1253. In fact, going back through the history of things, it makes good sense too based on the rules of charting, which state when levels of support. So let's first establish that this area here did have a history of acting as support, but when they're broken, and that support was broken right there, they tend to act as resistance, which is what you have both right here and then right here. So that's just a long way of saying 1253, definitely going to be a key battleground moving forward, although somewhat irrelevant given the price pulled back so much, but nonetheless, still wanting to get that level mapped out. In the very near term, the key level of resistance to watch is that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. You can see that it continues to get rejected from it. So like I said, very near term, prices first got to get up above that purple line there and stay up above it. In terms of areas of support, let's change this to green to represent support there. First level would be that gap close location right there at 1180. And then from more of the overarching standpoint, you'll want to watch that pink line there very closely, which is the very well-known, very famous 200-period moving average. Keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. But as I speak right now, you can see this one's actually having a very nice final 30 minutes here as it's coming up green here. But we'll see how it plays out on Friday. Next one, SGBX, and overall nice pattern here has formed, so let's just get this pattern drawn out. And as I draw this, please realize I'm not trying to press you. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of great discovery. I assure you a lot of people are drawing this pattern, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let me change, just make it a little bit more symmetrical. There we go. So change that to green because that is the support part of the pattern, and then maybe make it easier to see. Let's keep it all one color here. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosive move up there. For you golfers, I'll try to make it a little bit more visually appealing. Put the golf hold on here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible, is it valid that if the price can work its way back up here and get a break up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like bull pennants, you like penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, I'm going to go through very, very quickly because you just heard me talk about it. The biggest difference here is this is not a penny stock, but we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. And then just because I can't help myself, let's keep it one color. So resistance, support, big move up, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Like I said, biggest difference here is maybe you don't like penny stocks, but you like this price range up around, the $5 mark or so, but you like bull pennants, then keep an eye on PCSA. Next one, Meta, had earnings. Market did not like the earnings, but to give credit where credit's due, a very, very impressive bounce when you consider where the price was at its lows during that opening 30 minutes to where it's been able to battle back to. Good, solid bounce, and with a very well-defined area of resistance headed into Friday, and that level being right there at, let's see, what is that? 445.50. You can see essentially three separate times, once, twice, three times price got right up around that general area and got rejected every time. That doesn't mean that 445.50 can't be broken. I'm just saying that, according to what the story of the chart is telling us, there are very clearly a lot of sellers currently hanging out up around that area. So watch that. If this bounce is going to continue, that'll be public enemy number one. And then I would definitely say a must-hold level from a support standpoint is down here at the 424 mark. And why is that level so important? I'm not saying this is what's going to occur, but if the price were to come down here and then break down below it, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. Or in other words, that would imply that the price made a great bounce and then went right back to where it was. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. So in my mind, that 424 mark, very important for that reason. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall, very, very good day, very good afternoon, and namely because the price has now broken up through that red line there at the 168 mark, which I talked about previously. So first, I'm going to do a little house cleaning, just get rid of these lines down here as they've served their purpose for now. And the first key update comes about based on a rule in charting which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So ideally, moving forward, the best case scenario, meaning, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the healthiest moving forward? Definitely if the price can now stay above 168. With that being said, if the price falls below it, that doesn't mean that the entire chart's destroyed or anything like that. But yeah, if the price could manage to stay above it, that'd be a great sign of power. But if the price does come down through there, you still have that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, and then the purple line, the 50 period moving average. Again, both those are moving, so that purple line will quickly make its way upwards and get more and more relevant. But overall, like I said, 168, if the price could stay above there, that'd be fantastic. In terms of areas of resistance, no fancy logic here other than asking the question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 170.85-ish, give or take a little bit. So keep an eye on that moving forward. But all things considered, good solid day here for Tesla. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for the free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage you can use to get signed up. Now, one special note is it is a genuine live event. So maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this video Friday morning and you've totally missed it. Go ahead, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next, ticker symbol ACON, and this is no doubt a pretty ugly looking chart here when you consider the great, poor choice in colors, the great move it went on here. And now, yeah, quite the big pullback, but for you longtime viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, and the ugly here that I'm wondering about, and the opportunity is down around those moving averages right there, which could very realistically serve as an area of support. Now, are there guarantees? Of course not. But is it valid to think that if the price comes down here, it could level out and then potentially get a curl back upwards? No, when I say back upwards, I don't necessarily mean it's going back up to retest those highs. But even if it just goes halfway or a quarter of the way, relative to what's being risked, you could be looking at a good solid reward. But on that note, you better be able to manage that risk. You better be able to be disciplined and all that. So if you're an undisciplined trader, probably not the setup. Well, I mean, you shouldn't be trading anyways, but especially in these situations here. But if you are somebody that can build those risk-reward scenarios, be disciplined, then yeah, if this thing gets a bit more ugly down or around these moving averages, very realistic to think that you could get at least some sort of quality bounce. Next one, ticker symbol AMC, and had a bit of a pullback here. But all things considered, you know, the chart's still hanging in there. You can see from where it was at its lows here, it's still up quite a bit, but nonetheless, we'll get some key levels here mapped out. So overarching wise, nothing has changed from previous videos I've done. Still got to keep a close eye on the 355 mark, that red line up there. But in the much more near term, public enigma number one is all about that purple line, 50 period moving average. You can see that when the price broke below it right there, again, that rule, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. You can see resistance, resistance. So if the price does come up there, then the bulls really are going to need to bring their A game, because as we've seen, it's already begun to act as resistance. And then, yes, after that point, you can start to turn your attention more so to the 355 mark. In terms of areas of support, key level to watch if the price does roll back over, going to be right down here at $3.10. But I would say the must-hold level is down here, that pink line right there, which you've heard me talk about before, that 200 period moving average. If the price were to drop low there, then that'd be a pretty big red flag. But as of now, the price isn't anywhere close to that level, let alone even breaking down through 310. So yeah, past couple of days, not the greatest, but bigger picture wise, as you already saw, the chart is still at much higher levels. Next one, BRFH, and have a trend line here that I think a lot of people have probably drawn, if not that exact one, something very, very similar to that. So going back to that whole talking topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, guaranteed, no, but is it plausible to think that the price can curl back upwards and get a break through that trend line right there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? I think that is absolutely plausible scenario. An interesting thing here, you can see a very strong trend line right there. Now, if the price breaks below that trend line, because it is so steep, by no means the end of the world, but I think if anything, that trend line just illustrates how aggressive this late day bounce has been, or not late day, pretty much late morning, and then the rest of the afternoon has bounced up very, very aggressively, which just makes it, I think, seem that more plausible. Yeah, maybe there is some sort of break coming here up through that trend line, so keep an eye on that. But all things considered, if you like this price range, if you like these sorts of potential scenarios, I think it's one worth keeping an eye on. Next one, SOFI, same general idea of what I just talked about with the previous one. I think there's this trend line right here is something that, oh, I miscalculated. Okay, even more interesting. So essentially the price is right at, and in fact, it's slightly above it. Okay, even better. And that's why I like to do these when the markets are open. So going into Thursday, get to ask always a very exciting question. That question being, is this the start of something bigger? Think about the question, though. That makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile is even happening. But that's not the case here. Something worthwhile is happening. It is actually poking its head up above that trend line. Now, to be fair, maybe this isn't the start of anything. Maybe this thing gets ready to roll right back over. That's totally possible. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, I mean, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll on Friday. So we have a very nice little trend line. Price is oh so slightly up above there. So, yeah, is this the start of an even bigger breakout? If you like these sorts of scenarios, definitely keep an eye on it for Friday. Next one, TQQQ. Started off the day very, very rough with the gap down, but has since recovered upwards. Still work that needs to be done, but yeah, granted from where it was at the open down here and at its lows to where it managed to fight back up to. Good, solid movement. And along the lines of the other one I talked about, meaning, you don't want to see prices bounce and then go right back to where they were. So moving forward, I would call 150, 160, very, very important level because, again, if the price were to come down below there, what's that doing? Well, it's putting the price right back to where it was. And what you want to see, avoided at all costs is nice bounce. Oh, right back to where it was. So that's why 51, 60, very, very important from a support standpoint. Now, preferably what would make the chart look the absolute strongest? Definitely if the price can continue to cruise up above that purple line there, 50-period moving average. You can see it's been doing a great job of holding that support. But again, even if it doesn't, not the end of the world because 51.60, for the reasons already talked about, is a much more important area of support. In terms of areas of resistance, yeah, still have the level up there, that red line at 54.60. But what I'm curious about now is I want to get a trend line into play. Because that's essentially right where it's gotten rejected several times before, going through the history of things. Rejected, 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 rejected. So keep a close eye on that. But yeah, a good solid break of that. Can it travel back up to that area and get the break of that? It creates a very interesting scenario. But all things considered, like I said, from how this one started to how it ended, overall, I'd say a mission success. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, go get signed up for that free webinar. And if you have something already planned on your evening, or if you're watching this Friday morning, then like I said, go ahead and send me an email and I'd be happy to send you a link to it. But yeah, come, it's live, ask questions. We'll have a good time if you can make it live. So go get signed up. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. Now, one bit of clarification, I am on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks now represents 4 hours instead of 30 minutes. That is because Bitcoin's open 24/7, so I want this analysis to be relevant for as long as possible. And overall, yeah, rough past 24 hours. When I was talking about it previously, it was all about, hey, can the price break above that area? And it got rejected. And then very, very nasty pullback. In fact, all the way down there. So on that note, we're in the middle of potentially a nice little recovery. And that's where the first question mark comes into play. So I'm just going to assume you're watching this video 15, 20 hours from now. And the question number one that you need to first ask yourself is, where is the price at relative to 64,500? As of right now, it's basically right at that level. If you're saying, well, Clay, the price is up above it, that's good. How far up above it? The further up above it, the more bullish this recovery has been. Now, of course, if you're also answering the question that the price is above that pink line, that would just be telling you that Bitcoin has gone into monster mode and the bulls are on steroids and there's been just an epic bounce. I don't think that'll be the case, but you never know. Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, no, the price is actually down below 64,500, okay, then how far down below it? If somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below 61,300, that would imply that this was a fake bounce with another very nasty, nasty move to the downside. Again, I don't really foresee that being the case. But if you're answering the question that essentially the price is down below here, but up above that level, then that just implies that you have essentially just a general kind of consolidating sense. Same thing here. If it's up just, you said, well, Clay, it's looking like it's basically in the right spot, or, that right where it is currently at the time that you recorded this video. Again, just kind of general consolidation. But what I'm most curious about is, does this bounce have any more fuel in it? And that's why the first question is, how far up above 64,500 is the price, assuming, of course, the price is actually up above it. But if it's not, then yeah, this little bounce right here essentially, had no sort of true power behind it. But all things considered, from where it was all the way down here, nice little bounce. We'll see if it continues over the next 24 hours. As I invited the stock traders, I am definitely inviting you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader, because what you learn about in the class can and definitely should be used within your Bitcoin and crypto trading. So like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, clay@claytrader.com, send me an email, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But like I said, it's live, so show up, ask questions. We'll have a good time, and I hope to see you there. But if not, go ahead and drop me that email. If you appreciate these top 10 videos plus Bitcoin, hit that hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Those things help out quite a bit. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours.